You've probably read in some apologetic books the argument that there are over 300 prophecies about Jesus in the Old Testament, and the mathematical likelihood to fulfill all these prophecies based upon coincidence is just so extremely unlikely. Now, this argument is good, but sometimes it's a bit overstated. And what I mean by that is this: when you look at a lot of the prophecies about Jesus in the Old Testament, a lot of them fall into the category of types and shadows. Now, many of them are predictive prophecies. They're actually predicting a coming Messiah, and here's what he's going to do. This is what he's going to be like. This is the teaching that he's going to bring. You see those kinds of predictive prophecies in the Old Testament, but a lot of them are types and shadows as well. And so when we say over 300 prophecies in the Old Testament, oftentimes our critics can go and look at those prophecies and they're like, no, this is kind of fuzzy here. You can't really say this is about the coming Messiah. And they try to poke holes in our apologetic reasoning through that means. And I would just like to encourage Christians, kind of tighten up your argument a little bit more. Instead of just trying to throw out this, 300 plus prophecies, narrow down a handful of predictive prophecies that are really just sound. Passages like Isaiah 53, very specific, very convincing, and really has that apologetic force behind it. And then once you've built a foundation from predictive prophecies, you can incorporate some of these types and shadows, which are amazing. And I don't want to downplay those at all. But you need to have the foundation of predictive prophecies that really demonstrate that Christ is the Messiah. And then you can incorporate some of these types and shadows. For example, the nation Israel being in the wilderness for 40 years. It's just extraordinary that Jesus would be in the wilderness for 40 days tempted by Satan. The nation Israel failed in the wilderness. Christ was victorious. And so those are really wonderful. We don't want to downplay them. But when you're dealing with unbelievers, you're dealing with skeptics, sometimes it can be casting your pearls before swine in a way, where you're starting with things that really make sense in the Christian worldview and make sense in a biblical worldview. But when you're dealing with unbelievers, sometimes it's better to start with the predictive, miraculous prophecies that are specifically about Christ, and then work your way into some of the more type and shadow type of prophecies.